Laurie Houts was a young and promising computer engineer, known for her intelligence, kindness, and the bright future that lay ahead of her. Laurie's vibrant personality and sense of humor were assets in her personal life and helped her make connections in the workplace. She had always possessed a keen sense of humor, dating back to her early years. Her spunk and big heart made her approachable and endearing, attracting people to her magnetic personality. Laurie treated everyone she encountered as family, creating an inclusive and supportive atmosphere. Those who knew her considered her warm-hearted and diligent, and Laurie had a passion for technology, and she was excited about the burgeoning tech industry of the early 1990s. Her life, full of potential and promise, was a testament to her drive and the love she had for her chosen field. Laurie Houts was born in Las Vegas, Nevada, on February 6, 1967. She was one of 4 daughters born to Virginia Furrer. Although Laurie was born in Las Vegas, her family relocated to San Jose, California, shortly after her birth. They settled in an area known as Silicon Valley, renowned for its high concentration of technology companies. Growing up in Silicon Valley, Laurie had the opportunity to witness the growth and evolution of the tech industry. While living in San Jose, Laurie's mother, Virginia, supported herself and her daughters by working for an insurance company. Virginia also enrolled her daughters at Gunderson High School in San Jose. Despite her short stature, Laurie excelled in athletics. She participated in several sports, including volleyball, softball, and basketball. Laurie's skills on the court were remarkable. At only 5 feet tall, she could make 25 free throws in a row. Laurie graduated high school in 1985. She then decided to pursue a degree in computer science at UC Davis. Given the growing prominence of computers in the 1980s, Laurie recognized the potential of the field and seized the opportunity to pursue her passion. Adobe Systems was at the forefront of the digital revolution in the early 1990s. Laurie joined this cutting-edge company and embarked on a career at their office on Charleston Road in Mountain View, California. During her time at Adobe Systems, Laurie faced unique challenges as a woman in a male-dominated industry. However, she refused to let gender stereotypes hold her back. Determined to forge her path, Laurie fearlessly embraced her role and excelled in her field. It was during this time that Laurie met Brent Fulmer, and their relationship blossomed. Brent was a kindred spirit, sharing Laurie's enthusiasm for technology and her unwavering commitment to their career. They embarked on a journey Laurie hoped would shape their professional and personal lives. Those who loved Laurie recognized her potential and were genuinely excited about her future. They knew that with her determination and drive, she could achieve anything she set her mind to. On September 5, 1992, Laurie Houts left her job at the Adobe Systems headquarters in Mountain View, California, to attend a wedding later that night with her boyfriend, Brent. Tragically, several hours later, a jogger stumbled upon a shocking discovery less than 2 miles from Laurie's workplace. While exercising on Crittenden Lane, the jogger noticed Laurie's car parked near a garbage dump. Upon closer examination, it became clear that something was amiss. The jogger noticed that Laurie's lifeless body was slumped over in the driver's seat of her car. But when the police and medics arrived at the scene near the garbage dump on Crittenden Lane, they were greeted by the jogger, who had called 911 to report finding a deceased body in a car. Upon their arrival, they confirmed the identity of the victim as Laurie Houts. Investigators observed a 3-foot-long nylon rope, which had been pulled through Laurie's mouth like a gag and knotted tightly behind her neck. As investigators further examined Laurie's car for evidence, they found footprints on the dashboard of her vehicle that matched Laurie's, indicating that a physical struggle had taken place. On the passenger side door of Laurie's car, investigators discovered 3 fingerprints that did not belong to her. These prints were carefully preserved as potential evidence. After examining Laurie's car, the investigators turned their attention to the surrounding area. They canvassed the vicinity of the garbage dump where Laurie's car and body had been found. While conducting their search, one investigator stumbled upon Laurie's purse. The purse had been tossed over a fence, leading investigators to believe that Laurie's murderer may have been attempting to stage the crime scene as a robbery. Laurie's murder shocked her family. Her mother and sisters were in disbelief that someone could have harbored so much anger and hatred toward her to take her life in such a cruel way. The sudden and unexpected loss of Laurie left her family heartbroken. In addition to the family's grief, Brent, Laurie's boyfriend, also felt the weight of her murder deeply. Laurie's murder left a void in his heart, and he would forever be haunted by what could have been. The dreams and aspirations they had shared were abruptly cut short. Detectives conducted a thorough investigation, questioning Laurie's family, friends, co-workers, and her boyfriend Brent. Their efforts yielded no evidence linking any of these people to Laurie's murder. However, during their conversation with Brent, he mentioned a name, an individual who harbored animosity towards Laurie and could potentially have had enough anger to commit the act. The name that Brent provided was John Woodward. John, a 28-year-old man, was Brent's roommate and employed at Oracle Corporation in Redwood City. In addition to sharing an apartment with Brent, John had a deep, unrequited crush on him. As Brent and Laurie started dating, John's behavior became increasingly possessive, as if the two of them were in a romantic relationship. Brent informed the detectives that John's behavior took a turn for the worse when Laurie began spending significant time around their apartment. Since the detectives believed that Brent's roommate, John Woodward, sounded like a viable suspect in Laurie's murder, they decided to take action. The detectives asked Brent to arrange a phone call between himself and John with the intention of secretly recording the conversation. They hoped that Brent would be able to get John to discuss his disdain towards Laurie and possibly even confess to his involvement in her murder. During the phone call, Brent asked his roommate, John, if he had killed Laurie. Instead of denying the accusation, John avoided answering directly. He refused to provide any details about Laurie and instead focused his questions on the progress of the investigation. It appeared as if John was trying to gather information about the detective's knowledge of the case to gauge if he was being suspected. Ultimately, the call between Brent and John failed to provide the detectives with the evidence they had hoped for. They now needed to turn their attention to analyzing evidence gathered at the scene of the murder, hoping to find a link between John and Laurie's murder. As detectives examined the forensic evidence from the crime scene, they discovered fibers collected from a piece of tape on the free end of the rope had similar characteristics to a pair of John Woodward's sweatpants. Furthermore, there was a match found between the 3 fingerprints found outside Laurie's car and John's. However, John claimed that he had never been inside Laurie's car. Detectives knew since his fingerprints were found on the outside of Laurie's car, that did not necessarily mean that he was the murderer. The detectives further investigated John's alibi at the time of Laurie's murder and discovered that he did not have one. In addition to the forensic evidence and the lack of an alibi, there were other circumstances and evidence that led to the district attorney's office deciding to charge John Woodward with Laurie's murder. According to the state, John murdered Laurie in a jealous rage because he was in love with her boyfriend and his roommate, Brent. After John was arrested and charged with Laurie's murder in October 1992, he pleaded not guilty. John was tried for Laurie's murder in 1995. However, the jury could not come to a unanimous decision, and the judge declared a mistrial. 1 year later, John returned to court to be tried for Laurie's murder again. Unfortunately, the case again ended in a mistrial when the jury couldn't agree if John was guilty. The judge presiding over the case told the district attorney's office that the only way they could file new charges against John for Laurie's murder was if new evidence came to light. John wanted to get away from Silicon Valley after his second mistrial and relocated to the Netherlands, where the company Reely Tech, where John was working at the time, had offices. Even though Laurie's case was at a standstill, detectives never forgot about her. They were waiting for the advancements in DNA technology they needed to prove John was Laurie's murderer. The detectives believed that advancements in DNA analysis would provide them with the necessary evidence to bring justice to Laurie and her family. Nearly 40 years after Laurie Houts' murder, in 2020, cold case detectives working on Laurie's case used new technology to process DNA on the rope used to strangle Laurie and other evidence recovered at the crime scene in 1992. By utilizing the latest advancements in technology, the cold case detectives hoped they would be able to obtain crucial DNA evidence from the rope used to strangle Laurie, providing valuable leads that were previously unattainable. In addition to processing DNA on the rope, investigators also examined other evidence recovered at the scene in 1992. This evidence included fingerprints lifted from the interior of Laurie's vehicle. However, despite their efforts at the time, the detectives from 1992 faced challenges in matching these fingerprints to a specific person. However, in 2021, when the results were received from the crime lab, the detectives discovered that the latent prints from inside Laurie's car matched John Woodward, and skin cells found on the rope used to strangle Laurie were a match to him as well. Furthermore, the detectives established that fibers from the rope used to kill Laurie matched similar fibers found in John's vehicle. Due to strong evidence linking John Woodward to the murder of Laurie, the Santa Clara County District Attorney refiled the murder charge against him. At the time, John was living in Amsterdam, which led to the involvement of the Dutch authorities. Working with the U.S. Department of Justice, the Dutch police seized John's computer and USB devices. In 2022, John Woodward was arrested at JFK Airport in New York City after arriving on a flight from Amsterdam. He was 58 years old. John was the chief executive officer for Reely Tech at the time of his arrest. After John's arrest, a spokesperson for Reely Tech told the public that John's arrest stunned them, and they expressed their sympathy for all the families involved. When Laurie's sisters heard the news of John Woodward's arrest for the third time, they experienced a mixture of emotions. Excitement initially filled their hearts, as they believed that justice was finally being served. However, this feeling quickly gave way to sadness as they realized Laurie would never return, no matter the outcome. Despite the renewed hope for justice, the reality of the situation still weighed heavily on their hearts. Having gone through 2 trials, Laurie's sisters knew how hard it would be to go through another. They knew the process would be emotionally draining and require a lot of time and effort. Additionally, they were saddened by the fact that in 2002, their mother Virginia passed away, and she missed out on the opportunity to witness justice being served for Laurie's murder. In 2021, after John Woodward was arrested for murdering Laurie, he challenged the application of double jeopardy. Double jeopardy is a principle that prohibits a person from being tried or punished for the same offense more than once. It ensures that an individual cannot be subjected to multiple prosecutions for the same crime. On August 21, 2022, the Santa Clara County judge ruled that John could be released on house arrest at a house he co-owned with his brother in Modesto, California. This decision was over the objections of the district attorney's office and Laurie's family. Before John was released from prison, he was fitted with a GPS monitor. Several months later, the Santa Clara County Court denied John's multiple travel requests. The judge ruled that John could not travel outside his home without prior approval. John was ordered to remain under a private contractor's constant supervision while awaiting trial. 1 year after John Woodward was arrested and charged with Laurie's murder, the judge dismissed his case, citing double jeopardy. According to the judge, John Woodward was technically acquitted in the last trial. After the judge dismissed the charges against John, Laurie's family and the district attorney were disappointed. Moreover, the judge sent an email informing her decision, not even telling the family this news face-to-face in a courtroom. The news that the judge dismissed John Woodward's murder charge upset Laurie's sisters, who were heartbroken that the new DNA evidence found linking John to Laurie's murder would not be heard by a jury. One of Laurie's sisters expressed her belief that all cold cases going forward, where DNA evidence had been found due to new advancements years later, were in jeopardy of being dismissed, just like Laurie's. Also, the Santa Clara District Attorney announced that they would fight the judge's decision to dismiss the murder charges against John Woodward. In March 2024, a 3-judge panel from the 6th Appellate District Court ordered the judge to vacate their decision to dismiss John Woodward's murder charge. According to this panel, when the judge dismissed John's case in 1996, that was not an acquittal. The 3 judges concluded that the constitutional protection against double jeopardy did not apply in this case. As a result, the possibility remains for John Woodward to be tried a 3rd time for the murder of Laurie. The Laurie Houts Memorial Girls Athletic Scholarship was established on the 30th anniversary of Laurie's high school graduation. Alumni of Laurie's school created it to honor her memory and pay tribute to her love for sports and her passion for STEM. This scholarship is awarded annually to young women who share Laurie's interests and aspirations. In February 2023, Laurie's family organized a basketball contest to celebrate what would have been her 56th birthday. This event honored Laurie's passion for the sport and kept her memory alive. Laurie Houts' tragic story and the circumstances surrounding her murder provide a glimpse into the themes of jealousy, disdain, and anger. John Woodward, an envious man, harbored intense resentment towards Laurie's relationship with his roommate, Brent Fulmer. Although Brent was a straight man, John believed that Brent belonged to him and no one else. This jealousy fueled a series of events that culminated in Laurie's death on September 5, 1992. Although John was never convicted of the murder, the evidence suggests that frustrated with Laurie's constant presence and interference in his life, John decided to take matters into his own hands. The investigators who gathered evidence on Laurie's murder paint a picture of a man who was at his wits' end and grew tired of Laurie always being in the way. Driven by his emotions, John strangled her, horrifyingly ending her life. However, Laurie's story is not only one of negativity. Throughout her life, she experienced immense love, and the profound sense of loss following her murder left a gaping hole in the hearts of her family and friends. They have been on a relentless quest for justice, seeking resolution almost 40 years later. Their unwavering determination to seek the truth behind Laurie's death is a testament to the love they had for her. Laurie Houts' story serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of envy, disdain, and anger. Her story highlights the depths of love and the feeling of loss that can be left behind when an innocent life is tragically taken. We invite you to dive deeper into this discussion, share your insights, or learn more about the nuances of this case. Whether you're intrigued by the psychological aspects, interested in the societal implications, or have theories of your own, we want to hear from you. For more stories like this, click the link above to learn about the horrific murder of a mother, taken at the hands of her husband when one woman isn't enough. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay connected. Stay with Reely Unreal.